man. We're talking about the death of the legendary entertainer Prince, who we lost last week.
Yeah, of course, legendary. That's definitely underselling it, I think. Of course, he was found dead a couple days ago.
What do you want me to say?
I would just go out and say he was the greatest recording artist of all time.
I know.
Absolutely.
I actually would say that's not too much hyperbole. He definitely deserves those kind of accolades. And I know we're radio, people can't really see Adam Willis, but no one has influenced his fashion sense more than Prince. All right, nobody.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to wear the hoop shirts, like that. And the bell bottoms with the boots always.
And nobody wears a band jacket, a frilly necktie, and assless chaps better than Black Adam Willis. Let me tell you right there.
Right, exactly. But yeah, he was. I mean, he could do whatever he wants, and that was one of the great things. He really could. And if he couldn't, he would just. That's just not how he lived. He was kind of the living embodiment of what you want an artist to be. I mean, it's kind of hard to refer to him in the past tense. It's kind of cruel almost. And talking about if he just did nothing besides music, if that's all he did, he'd still be a legend. I know he put out over, like 30 albums, but like that run in the 80s that he did, with Dirty Mind, 1999, Purple Rain, Sign of the Times, that's just some of the greatest pieces of music that you're gonna ever find in like that pop realm.
Well, yeah,
and he recorded all those things, all the instruments, like by himself, and like everything he played, he arranged and produced everything himself, and he was just so talented, and it's amazing. I don't think we'll ever see that again. He was an anomaly, and it's amazing to go over his body work and look at that, and just I still having a hard time that he's gone. It's just such an amazing thing, and really, it's kind of cliche to come out and say.
No, not cliche at all. I think the proper term
came out as a shock, but it really did. It really, really did.
I think the proper term to throw out there would be prolific. One of the things people don't realize is he's been a musician since the 70s, and everyone came really into acknowledgement of Prince, the entity as we know him, in the 80s and the 90s, and then he's just kind of always been a force that's there. What album did he buy? Oh, I got this, and this. And in the background, there's always been, oh yeah, and there was also Prince. Who worked on this? And there was also Prince. Who produced this? Oh, Prince did. Who wrote this song? Prince.
Well, he was so prolific. I mean, when he would put out Purple Rain, and then like right after that, like you barely had time to digest the music he was putting out. Like you would just get like, wow, that blew me away. Then all of a sudden you bring out something else that was like completely different, and it would blow you away again.
Oh yeah, Cat was a
machine. It was amazing, and it just. Like I said, if he just did music, he would still be, the biggest rock star ever.
No, not just music. I want to hear.
He's like, I want to act. And he did, Purple Rain the movie, which is, you watch it's kind of campy, but it's so good. It's so good.
Wait. Pause right there. We've had this discussion. Now, I think the movie is a classic because it's not so good. The music is phenomenal. Right. But let's not mince words here. The movie,
but like as a guy who's never acted, and he's kind of one of the biggest rock stars on the planet. I think it's great. When I heard he passed, they had actually Purple Rain on MTV, and I sat there and watched it. It was a few tears. It's such a fun movie. He plays the kid, and jumping in Lake Minnetonka, all that sexual stuff. It was sexual. It's a fun movie to watch.
Well, anyone who doesn't know or anyone who hasn't seen Purple Rain, I come to find out in the past week, a lot of people haven't. They're familiar with the album Purple Rain. They're familiar with the concept that came from the movie Purple Rain, but have never sat down and watched it itself.
Seen it.
You've never?
No, I've never seen it either.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Same here.
The whole room except for you.
Oh, okay. Well, no, Adam. I know Adam's seen it. Adam's got tattoos to represent how much this movie means to him.
Oh,
but
it's good. It kind of starts out. He just rolls up in this purple.
Riding not just any motorcycle. He was riding the Batgirl motorcycle.
It's fantastic.
It's not fantastic. It's fantastic because it's so bad. But it brought so much to the world, especially in that day and age where one of the things it's really known for is being much like Prince. It's great despite itself. And everything that Prince put across, conceptually, you never think, that's genius. That's the mark of a great musician. It's like he wears these weird outfits. He comes up on stage butt-ass naked most of the time, and then he's got like hair all over the place. He's got people like climbing all over him. He's climbing all over. He'll drop and like hump the floor in the middle of a set, like stop a solo to get down and just like grind, and that worked for people. And then Purple Rain is heralded for being one of the first really sexual movies in the time when you have things like 9.5 Weeks that are quote unquote the height of sexuality. I think Purple Rain was the first movie ever, was the first major motion picture ever non-pornographic Herb, I know you're getting excited over there, that actually had a hand of the vag on screen.
Oh.
That's like nothing now. Purple Rain was big for that, and that's just one work in this man's long, thoroughly.
Sexuality was always a staple with Prince, but it was sexuality in a way. It was like he's for like on romance and pleasure. It wasn't like power and machismo. You know what I mean? It was about seducing, and it was like kind of an intimate thing. And like,
don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to imply it was like sleazy in any way.
Yeah, no, it's not like this power and like dominating these women. It was like this seduction, and it was like empowering for all these people. So it's just losing him. You just lost so much. And then famously at Paisley Park, he has these epic vaults as well, with just like so much music and music videos and fully produced, musical endeavors like stacked up there. So now the big question is like, what happens to all that stuff?
Well, I don't know.
He has so much backlog music there. What do you do with it?
What I would think is, at the very least, in tribute to him, all the artists that he's working with, I don't know if it's all good blood between them, but would release anything that he's helped them build. He's responsible for the careers of so many different
part of the thing that made Prince too was the enigma, the mystery. Like, do you really want all that stuff out there? Even though it'd be great, I'm sure some of the stuff in there is like mind-blowing, and it's like almost a lifetime's worth of music, probably.
Yeah, people want to
But, some of that mystique, I don't want all of it to come out and have everybody like kind of deep in it. I think part of the mystery is what makes Prince Prince, so I want some of that to remain, maybe selfishly.
I don't know. I think once they pass, this is all folks have left of that legacy. It's 2016. There's still people coming out talking about, I think I saw Elvis over in so-and-so. It's like, no, he's been dead forever. Let it go. Prince is one of those
Tupac
musicians.
Last week.
You saw? Well, no, I saw Tupac at the supermarket, man. That's different. All right, that's science involved. It's got holograms doing his taxes. I want to hear everything that came from Prince, because a lot of that is genius that I'm guessing a lot of which was not released from his own, how artists will do something that we think is incredible, but it's not up to their specific standards.
Yep.
They have high standards, so they'll say, you know what, nah, screw it. We won't release it. A lot of groups have
not
done
only that, but it might even be something that's amazing as its own, but it wouldn't fit the context of an album, so he just leaves it out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking about Prince here.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many that he actually made that are just brilliant, that are just dope, that you hear him and it's just like slamming off the bat. And he's like, yeah, but you know what? I don't really like working with this person anymore, so I'm going to, shelve that and back burner. And that's all in his vault.
Well, Kevin Smith has a very funny story, too, that he was doing like a Q&A at some speaking engagement he had, and he was talking about working with Prince. And he said he was trying to film this documentary on like this album that he released, and like the religious aspects to it and kind of the gospel of the music. And he got hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, and then at the end of it, he just says, no one's going to see it. He's going to throw it in the vault.
Yeah, I heard that, dude. That's messed up.
Undertake these giant projects, and a lot of times they're fully produced things, and they would spend hours, weeks, months on these things, and then he would just keep it for himself and just throw it in this weird vault. So you can just imagine what's actually in there, like, and how much stuff. Like,
all right, I got to say, none of this
made him. It was just so fantastic.
None of what you're saying right now is helping your
literally coming out.
None of what you're saying right now is helping the argument that we should leave that in the vault, dude. I want to hear it all now.
It might come out as like a nice trickle.
I want everything to rush out at once. Keep in mind, like, they released it a little bit, and I think they'll start to sensationalize and start inform rumors like, no, man, you got to understand. See, Prince didn't release this because the mafia or the Illuminati told him not to, and get like dumb.
Well, he had so much stuff because he recorded all the time, because he was just like, he seemed to just exude music. It was just something he constantly did.
Yeah.
It was part of his being. And so I know, like, at Paisley Park, every room in the house was wired for sound. So if he was sitting on the toilet and decides he wants to record a song, he could, because everything was wired. He could sit there and write music and sing. Everything like that would be recorded, so he'd have it.
Yeah, Prince.
Circling back to that toilet. Circling back.
Hey, man, the greatest hits of Prince, backed up by that urine stream. No, I do love the fact that there is all that out there, and it comes out in the form of, if we don't get the actual music itself, we get the lore of why we don't have it.
Oh, and there's so much lore with Prince.
Yeah.
I just watched a Facebook video the other day. A guy that worked very closely with Prince with charitable contributions and organizations. And I didn't know this, but Prince was a major philanthropist and always tried to help out anyone that he could, that he was aware of that was struggling, would go out of his way to make sure that whatever problems that particular person was encountering, that he would try to resolve that as quickly as possible. Like, the stories that are coming out now of Prince are incredible, absolutely incredible. He goes far beyond the music when he's taking the actions that I'm hearing and that I'm watching in these videos and learning about Prince from someone who doesn't know too much beyond, Purple Rain and other works like that.
Oh man, stories would blow your mind.
To learn more about the person of who Prince is and everything that he represented, he was just truly like an amazing, amazing loss. Like, I can't imagine someone...
You can't imagine someone filling those shoes?
I absolutely can't.
No, that's understandable, dude. One of the things.
Well, he's also kind of a weirdo too.
Kind of.
It's one of those things when you're that famous and you're that big and you're that big of a rock star, you kind of lose touch with reality. And I know he was a great philanthropist, but he was probably like, I heard like one-on-one as a guy, he kind of like is all over the place. He's kind of like, his mind would drift and he would start talking about this and that, and all of a sudden it would lead into something weird, and it was kind of hard to, wrangle him back in. I hear from a lot of people talking about that because he was just so in Prince land all the time.
Sounds like a lot of artists.
So that's why his music speaks more, I think. That's where you're getting Prince as the true essence there. And I didn't think we were going to lose anybody bigger than David Bowie this year. There's only like one or two guys that would
close
mean
proximity
that
of all
much
these.
as just being a rock star. And we happened to lose, of course, we lost Prince. And it's just, how much worse can 2016 get? You know what I mean?
Don't
It's
say
a
that.
running thing on the show that we do where it's just like every week we have to start out with some horrible news about somebody passing away, and it's just it's not funny anymore. It never was, but it was just like it's
definitely going to get
ridiculous at this point.
It's definitely going to get worse before it gets any better, because as far as I'm concerned, the artists that are coming out now are not going to stand the test of time like the artists of old, but the artists of old are eventually going to fade away. We haven't even peaked yet. Once we overcome that hurdle, then it's like, who do we have to look up to?
Taylor Swift.
No.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, shut up, Pat.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Thank you and good night.
Well,
those are great examples.
I got to get out of here.
All right, Adam.
But I will say one thing before I go. If anybody, if you don't know Prince, or you guys have said you haven't seen Purple Rain and stuff like that, it's just, I would start with Dirty Mind. That's one of my favorite albums ever. When You Were Mine is my favorite song off that album. 1999 is obviously great. Purple Rain, you've all listened to. Sign of the Times is probably his best album to show him just straight musically on what he can do. It's a double album, and it's just start with those and then go from there, and just read as much as you can and listen to as much as you can of the music. Go out and buy it. He was a monster. He's bigger than you can imagine. And thank you, Pat, for letting me call in. Thank you for everybody for putting up with it.
No, it's all good, man. Thanks for sharing. We'll talk to you. Actually, we'll have you back on the show next week. You can give us.
I'll be back next week. Save my seat for me, will you?
All right, we'll do. We'll keep it warm for you.
All right, brother.
All right, take it easy. Okay, Johnny, that means start farting in the chair right away. All right, no, we're talking about Prince.
More toilet, man. More toilet.
Yeah, that seems to be the slippery slope the show's gone down tonight. But no, he made a lot of really good points, dude. Prince touched us all, and that's no euphemism, no pun, no innuendo there. Like, I did not realize until he actually passed, and I'm somebody who knows and follows the catalogs of different entertainers and musicians, and even I didn't realize the full extent of Prince's reach. Everyone knows Vanity. Everyone knows like Sheila E. I didn't realize that Prince worked with the likes of Sinead O'Connor, Sheena Easton,
Madonna.
What's his name? Morris Day. Michael Jackson specifically went to Prince for a lot of his greater hits. And I'm like, yeah, but even he had the ones he went to in times of crisis. And they were Quincy Jones and frickin' Prince. And one of my favorite stories is Michael Jackson's Bad video. Do you all remember that? Mm-hmm. If you remember the Michael Jackson Bad video, in the full version, he's a dude that returns to his hood and he's stepped to by his former gang. Yeah, because Michael Jackson's the hardcore gangster that we knew him as. But the gang is headed by Wesley Snipes. This is before Wesley Snipes was like Passenger 57 hardcore blade action dude and was just part-time, backup dancer, part-time actor struggling. And this was one of his earliest roles. They picked him because he looked hardcore. That role was supposed to be played by Prince. Yeah, can you imagine Prince as this like hardcore gang leader? Say it. And then we're going to start off, "Yo, butt is mine." So you got Prince saying to MJ, "Yo, butt is mine." MJ saying to Prince, "Your butt is mine," and Prince tells the story like, that's why I didn't want to do it, because you got me talking to Michael talk about I want your butt, and him talking to me like I want your butt, and that's really not a situation I need to be involved in. And I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, history thanks you
right?
for that specific lack of contribution. Prince, one of the greatest entertainers of our time and our generation, left a legacy, touched us all. Jenny, do you have a preferred Prince story?
Well, I mean, I'm here because I'm the producer of Old School Game Show, and we've done a lot of tributes to Prince. He's really been a big inspiration for us in what we do on the show. One of my very first roles in the show, I was in a dance number where I drew on a little tiny mustache and wore purple, and we did the Church of Prince. And last month we actually did a tribute to him, and we had Nick Chambers come on and play Prince.
Funny guy, too.
So we were incredibly shocked when this month he passed, because the month before we had David Bowie tribute played by Mary Widow on our show. So we sort of feel like maybe there's a little bit of a game show curse going on here.
Man. Well, if you hang out Sutter Damocles out there, look for the next Old School Game Show tribute to Donald Trump.
That's a good idea.
Or Justin Bieber, please.
Just wishful
If
thinking.
people just start naming people they want to die.
it's like a personified Death Note. That's amazing.
But I mean, in all seriousness, though, I think that what Prince does and what Bowie did was, all of us weirdo artists, we watch these people go out into the world. They're incredibly talented and they succeed, and they make us all feel like we're part of something. And I think that's the real legacy.
Yeah, well said. It's very important. One thing that people don't realize is entertainers are people too. And we all have our own inspirations. We all have our own backgrounds and stuff that brought us to where we are in life. And a big part of that is finding the influences that make you feel comfortable enough to go out and do that thing that you want to do. And I think Prince was very big in that respect for a lot of people.
Sure.
And it's good to hear that we have someone in house that was personally touched by that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Prince passed the age of 57, far too young in my opinion.
Way too young.
Way too young. Yeah.
Rest in peace, sir.